Palma. Oh,
man.
pass. That's unfair, and Palma 7 points in the game.
To Del Fuentes.
Delgado makes the shot and knocks it down. Bologna is open. 3-pointer.
Face a jumper by Robin Celis.
Caballero has time.
Now it gets Martin Bozo. Turnaround jumper. Oh my goodness.
The action heating up here in the Maharlika Pilipinas Basketball League, and for the fourth time this season, we travel to the city of Caloocan, to the beautiful Caloocan Sports Complex this Friday, and another triple header para sa inyo mga kaliga. And we begin with the Parañaque Patriots, still struggling and still in transition, taking on the Abra Weavers. That's our first game at 4 p.m. followed by the defending champs, the Pampanga Giant Lanterns, going up against the Zamboanga Sikat. And to cap things off, Caloocan Batang Kangkalu will defend their home court against the Imos Brotherhood. Magandang hapon mga kaliga, Ken Panglinan with Coach Mike Perez. Coach Mike, 3 games today and lahat North versus South ang ating matutunghayan ngayon.
Yeah, agree. And mga laban natin patuloy na painit ng painit dito sa ating season, lalo na for this very important day para dito sa mga teams na ito.
And of course, you're watching us on Facebook and YouTube and also on Solar Sports every Mondays, Thursdays, and Saturdays starting at 6 p.m. And of course, kasama natin at courtside, walang iba kundi si Miss Sydney Crespo. Sydney, mabanggit ko lang, nabanggit ng misis ko, bagay sa atin yung black daw, sabi ni Nudge. But of course, Sid, you have a report for us for Abra and Parañaque.
Hello, Ken and Coach Mike. Well, I agree with Naj. Black, yung favorite ko itong uniform natin na color black daw. Pero magandang hapon sa inyo at happy Friday sa lahat ng ating mga kaliga. Sana i-enjoy po ninyo ang inyong biyernes kasama kami. Kanina nakausap ko ang ilan sa mga Abra Weavers at kitang-kita ko kaagad na maganda ang mood at energy nila. Binanggit ko kaagad yan sa kanila at sabi nila kasi daw maganda yung mga naging ensayo nila. They see good development from all players, especially as they prepare to close out this month on a high note, talking about today and their next home game on May 31. At isa sa mga naghahanda para sa momentum na yan ay ang nagbabalik na si Encho Serrano. Encho took a quick break just to rest and prepare his right knee. Pero ngayon okay na daw siya, gentlemen.
Maraming salamat, Sid. And Abra in the midst of an 8-game winning streak, actually second most in the league so far, just behind Nueva Ecija. And yesterday, we covered the games at the Pasay Astrodome. And we saw Mindoro win over Manila, San Juan fending off Bacolod, and then Pasay getting that huge victory after back-to-back losses against Cebu.
Yeah, very important game lalo na para dito sa Pasay, trying to get back into their winning ways, and Mindoro as well winning over Batang Quiapo, and the San Juan Knights getting a good one over the Tubo Slashers.
Kabilang dyan, Axel Inigo setting a milestone, being part of the 1,000-point club, also career high in points. And ngayon, punta na tayo sa ating team standings, Coach Mike, both in the North and South Division. Because here, in the North, Nueva Ecija still undefeated. Abra lurking behind. A win here will move them up to second place.
Yeah, and yung Pampanga Giant Lanterns will see action also later after having that loss against Caloocan, would wanna get back after that 6-game winning streak. The Batang Kangkalus will wanna follow up another win here, get that win streak to 3. The Sikat is going to be up against later on, and that's going to be a good one as well. And Imos and the Parañaque Patriots trying to come up with better records here in the South Division.
Kaya nga sa South, napakalaga nung panalo ng Mindoro yesterday just to keep in step with the top 8 teams here sa ating South Division, Coach Mike. And you see here, Gensan 6-6, Imos 6-6, Batangas 6-5 as well, and yung Parañaque lurking behind at the bottom. And in their last game, nakita natin kalaban nila yung Pasig City in that matchup, Coach Mike. Although we saw Parañaque break the 70-point barrier for the very first time, but ang nangyari, nagresulta pa rin into a loss.
Yeah, and I feel one of the reason that na-break nila yun is this guy right here, Allen Bernard Papa, who scored 13 points, third leading scorer alongside Jay Boysolis, who also had 13, and James Mangas had 16 in that game. The struggles continued in the second half. Really just about making shots, and they had a tough time defending the paint. and they got outrun on the floor by Pasig. There were minus 16 points in the paints and minus 5 in fast break points. But I feel things would really go well, lalo na para dito sa Parañaque. Adjustments in place with the new coach in Coach Toto Dohilio. But hopefully, this turns out to be a win for them in this match.
And obviously, Coach Mike, a huge mountain to climb para dito sa Parañaque. Kalaban nila itong Abra Weavers. And ever since that loss against the Pasay Voyagers, they have been on a tear. And itong kalaban nila, Bacolod, hindi to basta-basta, Coach. They've been playing really well despite being a young team. But Abra showing their stuff and just too much arsenal at their disposal here.
Pretty much. If there is one word that best describes that game for the Abra Weavers, it's sizzling. They were sizzling from 3, 16 of 34 on a 40% shooting. Dave was 5 out of 9. Marvin Taiwan was 2 out of 2. Joshua David was 5 out of 8. Really just so much production from the Abra Weavers in that game. And you're happy if you're Abra because after that win, sabi nga kanina ng report, maganda yung naging practice nitong Weavers.
Alright, it's Parañaque versus Abra for our first game. Let's go to Miguel Pere to introduce the starters.
A very pleasant afternoon to everybody and welcome to the first game of our triple header here at the Caloocan Sports Complex. It's Parañaque Patriots versus Abra Solid North Weavers on the 2025 Manny Pacquiao's MPBL Season 7. Let's meet the starting fives, beginning with Parañaque Patriots. Starting at guard number 37, Paulo Castro. Also at guard number 12, Jasper Cuevas. Center number 34, Lander Cannon. Forward number 17, Alvin Capobres. Also at forward number 0, Dave Moralde. Their head coach is Stephen Mopera. Assistant coaches, Franklin Mancho, Tyron Ruiz, and Syke Miguelino. Team manager, Joel Mendoza. Team owners, Jamal Vizcara and Honorable Joan Villafuerte. Now, the starting five for Abra Solid North Weavers. Starting at guard, number 4, Marvin Taiwan. Also at guard, number 5, Josh David. Coming in at center, number 55, Yusef Taha. Power forward, number 83, Mark Yee. And the other forward, number 1, Dave Ildefonso. The head coach for the Solid North Weavers is Yong Garcia. Assistant coaches, Tenok Miranda, Don Uro, and Edsel Valenya. Team owners, Cap Jaja Pernos and Kong Mayor, JB Pernos. Reference for the small game.
Starting five, brought to you by 1xBet, the title sponsor of the MPBL. Your choice, your victory, feel more game with 1xBet. Laban ng Parañaque at Abra for first game. Backcourt of Paulo Castro, Jasper Cuevas. Up front, Lander Cannon, Alvin Capobres, and Dave Moralde for the Patriots. For the Weavers, Marvin Taiwan, Joshua David, Yusef Taha, Mark Yee, and Dave Ildefonso. Ildefonso has started in all of the games so far para dito sa Abra. And introducing our referees for this ball game, Arlon Trebillo, Efren Agaman, Leonardo Leosa, and ready to sub in is Hali Dangkog. Parañaque, obviously undermanned in transition in white, samantala Abra in their teal jerseys. Tip going to the side of the Weavers. Ildefonso. Di natinag kahit may challenge dun sa tira dun.
You like that Dave Ildefonso immediately trying to, very quick for the most part, sa lahat ng mga nilalaro niya, trying to get involved offensively. And that time around, you're not surprised that he's taking shots early.
Yusef Taha inside, kick out pass. Joshua David had a breakthrough performance the last time out. But sablay yung kanyang tira. Dave Moralde. Masyado matulis that time from the outside.
Both these teams actually jacking up threes, no? Very early. Pang-apat na attempt na ito between these two teams.
By one. Go to the corner. Joshua David. Taha with another rebound for Abra. 10 seconds sa shot clock ng Weavers. Marvin Taiwan up top. Swing it around. Marwin, his turn of a free. Tama ka, coach, no? Wala pang attempt inside the arc. This could be the one. Paulo Castro goes up strong. Counted plus a foul. Paulo Castro starting strong here for Parañaque.
And si Paulo Castro, you know, pretty much the kind of perimeter player that you want for the Parañaque Patriots. You see a little bump in that finish against Taiwan.
Pass per the game brought to you by Extreme X Pop, personal karaoke speaker, everyday karaoke.
I feel magandang contribution pagka si Paulo Castro gets into a good rhythm. Lalo na yung mga non-paint twos, he's pretty good at that. Maybe not so much on the threes, pero yung mga perimeter na non-paint twos, doon mamaasahan niya si Paulo Castro. And that's the best, I guess, way for him to help out in trying to help spread that floor para dito sa Parañaque Patriots.
Yusuf Taha scoring the first 2-point field goal para dito sa Abra. Bagsak si Alvin Capobres. Lander Cannon thought he was fouled, but it will result to Abra basketball after that miss. 2 minutes gone by here in quarter number 1. Marvin Taiwan dumps it up to Joshua David. Back to Taiwan. Parañaque is settling into a zone. Oh, bounce pass inside. Ang ganda. Ildefonso papunta kay Taha.
Well, David Ildefonso always has that uncanny ability of putting the ball on the floor, seeing gaps, and finding open teammates. And Taha was right there, the recipient of a good pass. And I feel that's what makes these guys, itong Abra Weavers, very dangerous team right now, lalo na pag binalikan mo yung performance nila from 3 points in their last game against the Slashers. I mean, it's always been, you know, one of the stat lines na medyo challenge ng konti itong Abra Weavers, but they prove, no, if given a chance for them to perform out there, they definitely have enough shooters to extend the defense.
Nararamdaman mo, Coach Mike, habang tumatagal, you know, Dave Ildefonso keeps getting better and better each time out.
Yeah. At saka ang nakakatakot rin dito sa Abra Weavers, I don't think they've peaked yet. I mean, these guys very early, after the Holy Week, medyo nag-struggle pa sila dun sa game na yon. I talked to Coach Jerry Andalion and he says, you know, maybe you can attribute that to medyo mahaba yung naging break namin. We've had very few practices. And so I feel this is the very first time that I've heard na maganda yung mga sunod-sunod na practice ng Abra Weavers, and alam mo naman kung ano nagagawa ng preparation, especially for a very strong team like the Abra Weavers.
How about a strong start for Yusuf Taha? Getting this fadeaway jumper to drop. Walang third Nowitzki. Ginawa niya dun.
Yeah. Ang impressive dun is yung footwork, you know. You get the ball to the post to try and shrink the defense para lahat papasok sa loob. You know, you have shooters outside that's waiting. See this foul call here. And that's exactly what Taha did, you know. Grab the ball, take a shot immediately.
So the second free throw counts, but foul will be called against Mark Yee here. 10-4 for the Weavers. Paulo Castro binigay kay Alvin Capobres, laban kay Mark Yee. Cannon. Ganap ng papasahan. Jasper Cuevas tatanggap. Sasalaksak si Jasper. Lander. 8 on their shot clock. Cross court. Moralde trying to maintain his balance. A second remaining. Capobres will not get off a shot in time.
Well, none of those actions allowed itong Parañaque Patriots to exploit the defense.
Assist of the game brought to you by Extreme. Title sponsor of the MPBL. Your choice, your victory. Feel more game with 1xBet. Dave. Three-pointer does not go. 5:30 left here in the first quarter. Capobres, that one rolls in. 10-6 ang ating score. 4-point lead para sa Abra. Taiwan. Ildefonso, oh what a move! Dave Ildefonso able to elude the defense. Moralde answers on the other end.
And that's what you love about Dave Ildefonso. I mean, finding a good read in moments where he puts the ball on the floor. Either he passes it off to an open guy or makes his own way to try and make a shot. As you know, Marquis just knocking down the 3 straight on from the top.
Past the halfway point of the first. 15-8. Abra up by 7. Cannon. Moralde. Susubok sa 3. Off to the left. Ildefonso. Back to Joshua David. Dave up top. Wide open. David finally buries a free from the right wing.
Well, let's not forget that Joshua David was pretty much key in that huge third quarter run involving a lot of threes for the Weavers. He practically left off where, you know, Dave Ildefonso started that game in the first half. There were nine 3-pointers made already in the first half, but really just Joshua David finding his rhythm the same way that Marquis has right now. He's 2 out of 2 from that spot.
Grabe, yung 3-point shooting nitong Abra here in quarter number 1. Parañaque now find themselves behind by 11 points. Joshua David open again. That one pops out. Parañaque dodging a bullet there. It's amazing because when you look at yung 3-point shooting numbers nitong Abra, they're not even in the top 10.
Great.
Si Capobres slide in and score for the Patriots.
Yeah, that pretty much has been one of the yung mga kung kakalabanin mo ang Abra Weavers, yun ang gusto mo i-challenge sa kanila. I mean, you cannot stop everything. You just have to pick which ones do you allow them to do. And considering na hindi ganun kataas ang 3-point percentage na, you're gonna allow those shots in the hope na hindi nila makuha, and then we get a long rebound and transition the other way.
3-point shot brought to you by Extreme, your one-stop shop appliances. Marquis nailing his second triple. As a team, Abra is 4 out of 12.
Tsaka meron talaga niyan si Marquis kahit dati pa no? I recall even when he played for Bacoor, meron na rin yan. Nice inbounds.
Ildefonso too easy in the paint. Just their 5th field goal. Ito, may report sa atin si Miss Sydney Crespo.
You see Dave Ildefonso and the rest of the Abra Weavers come out aggressive to start this game. At alam nyo, sabi nga ni Assistant Coach Jerry Andalion, magagalit si Coach Yong kapag hindi kami 100%. Bawal ang 99% dito. Regardless of their big game coming up next week, the Weavers know how important this match is, especially against a team that's still adjusting to their new situation. I talked earlier about how everyone seems to be leveling up this season. At ayon sa coaching staff, nagsisimula raw talaga ang competition within the team. Iron sharpens iron, says Coach Jerry. So every practice, every matchup, lahat yan nagsisimula sa kanilang ensayo. Back to you guys.
Maraming salamat, Sid. And you know, it's those things that people don't see, or more often than not, Coach Mike, mas important with regards to Abra, who's obviously contending for a championship. You know, the little things that they're trying to do and they're trying to work on, especially in practices, that's going to be crucial down the road if they want to make some waves. Especially you have Nueva Ecija there, San Juan, Pampanga in the north in the conversation, and then Quezon on the other side. At ito yung magandang galaw ni Dave Ildefonso. Gixer, great move of the game, born for greatness.
And that's just muscle memory para dito kay Dave Ildefonso. The number of reps that he puts in preparing for games as John misses from point blank. He was straight on. Normally, nakakaya yung range na para kay Ajaro dyan. And so you're surprised that he airballed that shot.
Dave Ildefonso getting his first rest Mahirap kung wala mo may Abra. Lalabas ka yung Dave, papasok na ba yung Encho?
Yeah.
LGR, the official outfitter of the MPBL. Serrano in, off the bench for Abra. Oh, that shot is good. Jordan Gonzalez announcing his entry for the Abra Solid North Weavers.
One thing that's also you've noticed about the Abra Weavers, at least in 2 of their last 3 games, the homegrowns have really stepped up. I mean, there was a game that we covered. We were thinking, saan manggagaling yung mga 3-point shooters ng Abra Weavers, and the homegrowns pretty much answered that question. And Will Lee put up a lot of good threes, and you're just happy that you're getting extra support from your bench if you're the Abra Weavers.
Nakabutas. Galing sa tres si Jesse Saitanan. 27-15. Approaching 1 minute left here in the first period. Serrano with a one-hander.
And the Patriots gotta try and make the most out of this first quarter performance. They're down only by 14, and you gotta work extra to keep it at least at single-digit deficit entering the half.
Cuevas tried the Pinoy step, but nobody really biting on that fake. Serrano between the legs, puts one up. Forward pass, Buenaflor. Now pulls up from mid-range, off the glass, ends in.
Last shot time for the Weavers before we end the first frame.
10 seconds to go here. Encho Serrano. Garcia sa bandang kanan, binalik kay Encho. To beat the buzzer! And Encho Serrano, just the epitome of how Abra has been shooting the lights out from beyond the arc here in quarter number 1.
And you see all smiles right there for the Weavers. Pass back up to the top with the clock winding. Kevin was pretty much delayed in that recovery, and he was free for that 3. Speaking of Encho.
Layo din ito but Serrano burying that one. And Parañaque having trouble early on with the firepower of the Abra Weavers. And at the end of quarter number 1, Abra with the lead over Parañaque, 32-17. Special deal from 1xBet. Scan the QR code and claim your special offer. First quarter done. Abra, maagang panimula na naman dito. But Alan Mangahas making an appearance here in the second period for Parañaque. Let's see if we could change the fortunes of the Patriots as they're down by 15. Saitanan. Pass to Alin Papa. That one hitting the side of the backboard. Buenaflor steps in, but airballs that free to the field goal shooting. Actually, maganda rin naman yung percentage ng Parañaque, no? But just way more attempts for Abra, especially from beyond the arc.
Yeah. And I'd like to correct myself earlier. I think I said that Coach Dotto Trujillo was the one coaching itong Parañaque Patriots. Sorry, my bad. It's actually Coach Stephen Mojera, the assistant coach formerly of Coach Mike Sagigit, who's taken over the coaching chores, and pretty much a very able head coach itong si Coach Stephen Mojera. I've covered some of his games in the collegiate games of Olivares College, and there were certain games that he would be the one nagtitimon para dito sa team ni Coach Mike Sagigit. And so, to be able to shore up guys like Bernard Allen Papa, who I believe is one of those guys offensively that can help out itong Patriots, it just shows you, the keen eye for details in terms of talent nito ni Coach Stephen Mojera.
Those are former teammates, Raymond Binuya and Encho Serrano. Of course, Binuya still with Pampanga. Kalaban nila mamaya ang Zamboanga. Magandang laban yan, Coach Mike.
Yeah, and boy, those guys definitely want to get back on the court after that close loss last time against Caloocan. They did have a chance to win that one, but it didn't turn out their way. And so to come back here and play once again, just want to get back into that winning streak.
Maganda yung bitaw ni Jesse Saitanan ngayon. Pangalawang tres na yan ni Jesse. Cuts this lead back down to 30. Garcia. Gonzalez. A soft touch from the big man.
And Raven, pretty much one of the top solid guys for the Abra Weavers. He's a very silent operator, even kill, Tamo, talagang composed lang and focused on the game always.
How about Jesse Saitanan pouring it on here? That's already his third triple. Naisagutin ni Serrano. That one rattles out. Papa, the board for Parañaque. Allen Papa, the Hesse. And the blocking foul will be called against Garcia of the Weavers. The game brought to you by 1xBet, title sponsor of the MPBL. Your choice, your victory. Feel more game with 1xBet.
And just continually keeping in motion itong si Raven Gonzalez, getting that short pass and that make from the paint.
35-23. Serrano, the left corner. Cross court, papunta kay Jorel Gonzalez, same spot. But that time it results to a miss. Garcia, intercepted by Buenaflor. And he lays it up and in, lead down to 10.
Well, that's just basketball IQ there by Kevin Buenaflor. He knew that there was nothing there on that post-up side. So that ball was definitely going to swing top side. And Kevin just went inside the passing lane. But Raven Gonzalez, he just keeps on getting better every game that these Weavers show up.
Of course, leading shot blocker in our league, Raven Gonzalez. Also showing that potential on the offensive end. Tres galing kay Kevin Buenaflor. And this lead down to single digits.
And if you know Kevin Buenaflor, you're not surprised with this shot making from the outside. I mean, this one, getting in the passing lane, getting that steal.
Fast break the game brought to you by Extreme X Play on the go speaker. Take your music anywhere. Yun, layup naman. To Parañaque, getting a stop again. So a chance to trim the gap even further here.
Well, they are right now outscoring itong Abra Weavers in this quarter, 13-5.
At Jarud Jan will stay on their side as Batino tapped it out of bounds. 6 minutes and 24 seconds remaining here. Allen Mangahas. Allen Papa. Lalabas si Allen Mangahas sa corner. Papa. 6 on their shot clock. Allen Papa against Jorel Gonzalez. In trouble. Saitanan. Papa, bailout three is good!
Wow. And, he's just been a gem off the bench para dito sa Parañaque Patriots. This guy, Allen Papa, played in high school in Liceo de San Pedro in Laguna. Back then I had an opportunity to be able to coach him for some time, and you already see that athletic ability and that basketball skill set. And him, keeping in mind, shot clock winding, gotta make that.
3-point shot brought to you by Extreme, your one-stop shop appliances. Allen Papa bailing them out with that big-time 3-point shot. And Parañaque just down by 6, 37-31. Next 3 games of Parañaque, May 27 versus the winless Bulacan Cuyas, on June 3 versus Binyan, and on the 7th, they will take on the San Juan Knights. For more on Parañaque, let's go to Sydney Crespo.
Ken, Coach Mike, alam naman natin na ito ang magiging first home game ni former Parañaque head coach Mike Sagigit para sa Caloocan mamaya. Well, I was talking to Joshua David in the pregame. Nakita ko si Coach Mike sumilip sa court ang aga niya para sa home game. Pero alam naman natin kung sino ang sinilip niya dito sa ating sports complex. Itatanong ko yan sa kanya mamaya. Jasper Cuevas admits hindi magaan yung balita nga alis na si Coach Mike dahil sobrang taas daw talaga ng respeto nila sa kanilang head coach or former head coach. Nag-e-ensayo sila, giving their best kahit mahirap for Coach Mike. Now, they need to move on and be professional. Sabi ni Jasper, parehas pa rin naman ang sistema dahil matagal magkasama sina Coach Mike at Coach Stephen. Maganda rin yung point ni Jasper. Walang dapat magbago, marami pang pwedeng mangyari this season. Ken, Coach Mike?
Maraming salamat, Sid, as Gonzalez scores on the reverse. Ganun si Coach Mike, si Jasper Cuevas, tagal din nagkasama niyan with Perpetual and now here in the pros. But, you know, his stint, yung talking about Coach Mike here in Parañaque, baga masasabi mo parang siya na rin yung face of the Parañaque Patriots in the last 2 or 3 years. And that last year, as you see po in the floor, drilling a free, you know, it resulted to them having a deep playoff run in the South Division.
Well, pretty much. That's just been, I guess, the influence of Coach Mike Sagigit on all the teams that he's coached, be it the Olivares team, or itong Parañaque Patriots. He's just had that, I guess, parang moral ascendancy ba of influence on his players. And cliche as it may seem, as we see Coach Stephen Mojera, also one of the guys that has benefited for having coached under Coach Mike Sagigit. Cliche as it may sound, but change is the only thing that's constant in this world. And you know, that change of Coach Mike Sagigit moving over to Caloocan, sabi nga niya in that game, first time niya magko-coach ng puro veterano, and so naninibago siya pero kailangan mag-adjust siya. But if you swing over to what Jasper mentioned in that interview with Sid, he said na, you know, ang dami nilang natutunan dito kay Coach Mike Sagigit at kailangan maging professional sila. And true enough, for both instances, the coach that has left in Coach Mike Sagigit and the players that have stayed here in Parañaque do understand, you know, the basketball game's gotta go.
How about Parañaque though? Alan Mangahas gets that floater and we are tied 39-all, a chance for a 3-point play to take the lead.
And there are very few players who, once that convergence happens, you know, when players try to converge at a certain point, be it on a ball screen, that would come up with a really good decision and a very good look. You know, Alan Mangas is one of them. Good read and just high basketball IQ for the man right there.
This is the first lead of the Patriots. 3:36 remaining here. They get a stop. Abra, you know, surprisingly, their offense has really stalled here in the second quarter. Only 7 points after coming up with 32 in quarter number 1.
Yeah. No, right now, this is a 23-8 scoring actually. And so you're impressed. And one of the guys that's made a lot of help offensively would be Kevin Benaflor and that guy on the line, Allen Papa.
Sablay nga lang yung unang free throw ni Allen Papa. Second free throw coming up. Brought to you by Extreme Appliances, ang subok at kumpletong appliance brand ng Pilipinas.
The bench has been pretty huge para sa Parañaque Patriots. That's 28 versus 15. That's a plus 13 advantage already in that stat line para dito sa Parañaque Patriots. But you do understand, if you're Coach Stephen Mojera, there is a next level performance para dito sa Abra Weavers, and you have to be very mindful. That third quarter is going to be a different run para dito sa Abra Weavers, and you have to be ready with that.
Gonzalez missing a gimme, but right there, Dave Ildefonso putting in a free. Balik ang lamang sa Abra, 42-40. Dave Ildefonso already in double figures with 11 points. Now grabs his second rebound. Nagmamadali si Taiwan. Actually, Mangahas tried to give up that duty foul, but instead, shooting foul na yung napamigay doon ni Adjarujan.
ginamitan ng Gortat screen ni Batino, yung drive na yun on that left lane side of the floor for Marvin Taiwan. And pretty much, Marvin Taiwan, you know he's a really good wing guy, but once he transferred here to the Weavers, he's been, I guess promoted to that point guard position, and there's a huge difference being a wing and a point, and I feel Marvin has benefited with this exposure to being the point guard, because for the most part, when he doesn't see teammates that's open, he has more than the ability to be able to finish through the rack and through the cup.
Marvin Taiwan sinks both free throws. 4-point lead for the Weavers. Leo Timaho. Naihatid, papunta kay Dave Moralde. Ilalabas sa corner. Alec Elorde. No good. Multiple pump fakes, but Timaho able to sneak in that shot and in. Lead down to 2. Approaching 2 minutes. Field goal shooting, you see 64.3% ang Parañaque, samantala 33% lamang ang Abra in this second quarter.
Yeah, and you mentioned earlier, tama ka dun yung first quarter, ang ganda ng field goal shooting ng dalawa, almost in the high 40, high 45s. But yung difference really is the points per possession, kasi mas maraming naging 3-point makes itong Abra Weavers, as we see Dave Ildefonso again, baseline out of bounds coverage, pretty much almost free movement para dito sa Weavers.
Hindi madali yung ginawa ni Dave, ha?
Oo.
He had to hop into that shot, kiss it off the glass instead of going for the reverse. So doon makikita yung athletic gifts ni Dave.
Yeah. And what's more impressive about Dave Ildefonso, as you know, he's got still a lot of upside to his game, is his basketball IQ. There really is just so much basketball IQ on the head of Dave Ildefonso.
Saka very evident, Coach Mike, na here in this Abra team, si Dave, he's really picking his spots. You rarely see him, try to go one-on-one, try to take advantage of what he has over his defender. Lahat within the system, eh.
Yeah, I agree. So I've always thought of, I have these 3 letters in mind always as I coach. That's TSS: talent, skill, and size. Those 3 are pretty much how you pick players. But eventually, as you go, it's the basketball IQ that separates, the elite and the greats from the average players. And so long as you keep having that good experience and you learn a lot and you quickly pick up things from the game, you're gonna be as good as you can be.
Because his game has really matured leaps and bounces. If you remember, all the way from Ateneo, he wasn't really someone na, he can drive, but minsan he settles for yung mga pull-up jumpers. But now, he worked on his body, worked on his ball handling skills, and as a result, as we see Marky knock down that corner shot from the right side, ang dami na niyang kayang gawin, Coach Mike.
Yeah, and I feel that's really just part of him being young then. Oh, Alan for 3.
And Yusuf Taha gets the rebound, but Abra will not get a shot off. And that's the end of quarter number 2. Dave Ildefonso, fresh off a big performance against Bacolod. Kita mo naman yung mga numero dito in the first 2 quarters against Parañaque.
It's pretty much very similar to how he played against the Tubo Slashers, knocking down threes, finding open spots, and getting teammates involved. And so, if you're the Patriots, you gotta be, very aware of how he's going to perform better in the third.
Halftime score natin, 50-42 Abra over Parañaque.
Is annihilating Oscar De La Hoyas. That is the most spectacular one-punch set of Manny Pacquiao's incredible career. And he fights his way off and goes down again. Straight got plans for Manny. Does he have Cotto in trouble? Manny Pacquiao is a storm. Another huge left hand by Pacquiao. Punch after punch after punch. And he finds the straight left hand. And there's the punching down. Look at the brilliant accuracy of Manny Pacquiao. Landing with both right and left hands. This is why we use the word sensation.
Right now, it seems like every extra possession is going to the side of Pangasinan, and they convert. The Heat Waves up by 11, and this has been a collective effort.
On the second chance opportunity, an off-ball movement. Hockey assist by Gabo, who got the offensive rebound. Direct assist for Talio to Flores. 11-point lead.
Only fitting that he leads this team in the MPBL. Comboy on the run, Adlawan. Oh, access denied!
Wow! Oh my goodness.
Cebu Classic defense on point.
What a way to swat that shot away.
Couple of layups para kay Mancalo. Thought it was a goaltend there. Lastimosa with a tough drive.
Sometimes you got players na talagang mas gusto pa yung may bunggo. And si Carlo ang isa na doon. It's been pretty much the rebounding action, allowing for second chance opportunities.
63 to 68, baseline inbound for Basilan. Cabagnol from the corner. Big shot from the Crunchman. It's a 2-point game. Anxious moments here for Binyan, but what a play from Coach Rich Alvarez to free up the Crunchman for the corner three.
Well, you gotta credit Eman Calo for that perfect pass. Just on that catch and shoot motion for Alex Cabagnot. They've had, what, 5 in succession ba? Kasi si Val Chauca nakaisa rin kanina. Oh!
Jeff Comia, binitbit muna ang bola bago tinapos sa kabila. What a move from Jeff Comia.
2 points yun, pero mukhang 3 points sa effort eh, no? Grabe yung finish na yun ni Jeff Comia. Just a master in dribble penetrations.
Wow. Taking the lead here, 42 to 40, under a minute to play. Wamar against Macaloni now. Wamar is ahead. Wamar floats. What a shot.
Now they go for the switch. Malaking yung big man ang kumuha, no? Kay Orlan Wamar was able to beat Macaloni. But how about that
That's Steph
finger roll?
Curry-esque.
Montuano, balik kay Robbie Manalang. 8 seconds sa kanilang shot clock. Robbie trying to turn the corner. Forces up a three. Oh, banks it in! Robbie Manalang under the rest. Able to will that one through.
My goodness! I was gonna say, nasa isip ko na kin yung sasabihin ko. I was gonna say, what a terrible take by Robbie Manalang. Answered the call the past few games, including this one. Tampos gets ahead. Tampos hangs in the air and gets the bucket. The hoop and the harm para kay Boom Boom Tampos.
Oh my goodness, Javi. The elevation, the finish through contact.
Defying the laws of physics, Boom Boom Tampos featured in our play of the game, brought to you by 1xBet. I will absolutely feel more game if I see more shots like that from Boom Boom Tampos.
San Juan unable to capitalize on that steal. Pero here comes Nueva Ecija. The spin cycle and the finish. The former MVP, JC Marcelino. You know what? This is too big of a game for JC Marcelino not to make an impact.
Because we heard the oohs and ahs even before the shot. Doon sa spin move pa lang, narinig mo na sa crowd.
Only have one timeout here in overtime. Wala nang timeout ng Pasig. Garcia having trouble. Gets it to Lester Reyes. Robbie Manalang attacks. Kick out pass. Jaime against two defenders. getting that shot up and in! 23 points for Papa Cheats.
He has defied the defense numerous times in this game. Tough shot after tough shot. I thought Manalang would have been better off here trying to go inside into the basket, trying to sneak his way past that help defender. I thought he could have scooped the shot in on that left side, but still giving it to that deep corner kay Chito Jaime.
Laban pa rin kami kahit anong mangyari, kahit malakas man yung kalaban namin, hindi namin titignan ng ganun. Basta bibigyan namin yung best namin sa loob ng court. Tatry namin lumaban hanggang sa matapos ng oras.
Our score at the half, 42 for the Parañaque Patriots and 50 for the Abra Solid North Reavers. Just 8 points separating these two squads who are at the opposite ends of the spectrum. Coach Mike, actually, Abra had a strong start to this one, 32-17 first quarter. But the Patriots battling back actually took the lead briefly here before Abra finished off the second period on an 11-2 run.
I feel nakahabol sila dun sa pagdating sa points per possessions. Remember, we talked about earlier na halos maganda yung percentage pareho pero lamang lang sa 3-pointers itong Abra. Well, bumawi naman pagdating sa second quarter itong Patriots, both now having 7 3-pointers make. But Parañaque getting 50% of their shots on lesser attempts, no? And the 10 points of turnovers, really one of the things that pushed the production para dito sa Parañaque, and that huge help off the bench. Guys like Mangahas, Saitanan, Papa, and even Kevin Buenaflor leading the scoring charge off the bench para dito sa Patriots.
How about David Defonso? And you mentioned these guys, Kevin Buenaflor, Jesse Saitanan, Alan Mangahas, and Alvin Capobres. They are leading the pack para dito sa Parañaque. 10, 9, and 6 points apiece respectively for those guys. And David Defonso nga, no, para sa Abra, picking up from where he left off in that huge win over Bacolod with 13 points so far. Yusef Taho with 9, Marky with 8, Encho Serrano with 6. So the usual suspects actually are contributing para dito sa Abra. Now we go to the third quarter. Abra with a basketball. Apolonio. First appearance of Jason Apolonio here in the third.
And kung ikaw naman ang Parañaque, naintindihan mo na magra-run itong Abra Weavers potentially here in the third quarter, which is exactly what they did against the Tubo Slashers. You know, strong hot start, cooled off a little bit in the second, and then went on a huge run predicated on those threes by the Abra Weavers led by Joshua David.
Good attempt by Dave Boralde, but it results into a miss. Foul called on Alvin Capobres. So Marquis joined by Marwin Taiwan. And mga kakapasok lang, Jason Apolonio, CJ Austria, and the former Parañaque Patriot, John Oduba. Taiwan, the cut by Oduba. Back to Marwin Taiwan. Sends it to Jason Apolonio. Marquis, one-hander short. Ball ends up with CJ Austria. Fresh 14 sa shot clock ng Abra. A minute gone by, both teams yet to score. Apolonio lalapit. Nakuha ulit ni Marquis ang bola para sa Abra. And got held up by Jasper Cuevas. First foul on Jasper Cuevas.
Now you have to be very careful if you're the Parañaque Patriots. You already have 2 team fouls very early here in the third quarter. You don't want to fall into a free throw shooting game against Abra because Madalas ito, mahirap depensa, lalo na pagdating sa loob. See this drive right here.
Yep. CJ Austria able to elude the defenders and score the first basket of the third for the Abra Weavers. Back to a 10-point lead. Timaho, susubok sa tres. That one rattles in.
So far, yan ang, that's what's keeping them in the game. Itong mga 3-point makes itong Parañaque Patriots against that zone. But you have to get a stop as well on the other end. You just can't afford na makapagpalitan lang.
These two teams actually neck and neck in terms of 3-point makes. But today, both of them hitting 7 threes. That's below, actually that's already above their average of just above 6 makes from beyond the arc. So something's gotta give. 2 minutes gone by here in the third. Dave Moralde, bounce pass inside.
The Weavers continue with that zone.
Ganda ng pihit nung lander cannon sa ilalim.
Yeah. But a good read on that pass by Deo Timaho. Lander cannon got top-sided. It got fronted. And, you know, just understanding angles when you try to pass that straight to the post of the fronted defense.
Apolonio, nasa yung pasa. Ginugulo ng depensa ng Patriots. And sa ilalim, may napituhan ng 3-second violation. Assist of the game brought to you by 1xBet, the title sponsor of the MPBL. Your choice, your victory. Feel more game with 1xBet. That is Lander Cannon. Steal by Abra, but they cough it up. Bola babalik sa panig ng Parañaque. Lander Cannon, naghanap ng papasaan, ilabas muna kay Dave Moralde. Deo Timaho, lobs it up to Lander Cannon. Elbow jumper, galing kay Alvin Capobres. Daming bounce, pero eventually getting in.
And if you keep that ball moving, yung walang humahawak ng matagal, maraming bagay talaga ang maganda mangyayari sa opensa mo, lalo na yung proximity ng shot. In that case, very much within, you know, the area where they make those attempts.
John Aduba absorbing contact, but nonetheless getting that shot up and in, plus a foul.
And offensive rebounding, that's going to be the challenge para dito sa Parañaque Patriots. The Weavers just have so much very capable offensive rebounders on their side.
Abra is #1 in the league in terms of rebounding, 52.2 rebounds.
And walang question dun eh. Talagang malakas rumebound sa offense eh.
Alright, Parañaque with a challenge here with 6 minutes and 32 seconds remaining. We'll pause for a break. We'll be back for the result.
Upon review, the challenge was successful. Ball possession for Parañaque Patriots.
Successful, Coach. Si Coach Stephen Mopera. Okay. So no foul.
No fouls,
But the basket will
Counts.
still count.
Yeah, the basket still counts.
So sometimes I wonder, is that worthy of a challenge? Because yes, you don't, kumbaga yung foul, it wasn't called against you, but you still gave up the 2 points.
Oo, sayang lang, no? Pero minsan kasi yung mga situations na gano'n, gusto mo i-save rin yung foul kung may tinawag, na foul. Oh, wow.
Marcos Cuevas with a bank shot. You know, the reason I asked that, Coach Mike, is, yun nga, you have, pag nag-successful ka sa isang challenge, you still have one more. So, kasi you will weigh it eh. Parang, is it worth it giving up that 1 point? Because down the road, you might need
Agree.
2 more challenges.
Agree.
Diba?
And so really just understanding, yung timing ng paggamit and when really fit na gamitin mo yung mga challenges mo eh. It matters in the end game. For all you know, lalo na in a close game like this, you going up against a team that doesn't want to have that separation sa game na ito. And both teams have been batting it hard so far in this match.
Very situational kasi yung mga ganyan eh.
Right.
Minsan, kahit maaga, pero malay mo, pang third foul na pala nung player, kailangan mo rin gamitin.
Correct.
Malay mo, to save him from picking up that third foul and in the process, letting him stay on the floor. As you see Marquis with a miss. 54-51. Baka tikdigan tayo ngayon, Coach Mike. Ito si Jasper Cuevas, may pagkakataon tablahin yung laban, pero masyadong malakas lang yung tres. David Defonso back in. Stops, pops, and drops that jumper.
And that's the versatility of David Defonso. Threes, drives, long twos, paint touches, finding open teammates. Tutusin, pwede nga triple-double machine ito si David Defonso, no?
Yeah. Taiwan, nilabas kay Joshua David. Back to Marwin Taiwan. High arcing three, no good. Marquis grabs another rebound. David inside! Gets the layup. And a foul to boot.
Well, the very start of the season, I've always believed that the Abra Weavers have some of the strongest bodied guards this season. And one of them being Joshua David. I mean, you see that strong drive through the rack. At certain points in some games, you see him also going for offensive rebounds in traffic against the bigger guys. And he's just so good.
Yeah, so good that in fact against Bacolod, he broke out with 20 points, 2 rebounds, 3 assists, and for more on Joshua David, let's go to Miss Cindy Crespo.
Nung nakausap ko si Joshua David earlier this season, kwento niya na yung confidence niya ay galing sa familiarity with some of the Abra Weavers. Inabot niya pa si Encho Salazar. Siyempre, teammate niya rin dyan si CJ, but also in Ateneo, nakasama rin niya si Dave. But in addition to that history, maganda daw ang relationship niya sa kanilang facilitator na si Marwin Taiwan at sa kuya nilang si Marquis. Now, what the coaches like about Joshua after 5 months, lalong lumilinaw na raw ang role ni Joshua for him. It's true, maraming expectations for Joshua David, but so far, he is proving that he deserves this role. Ginagamit as 2-guard, lumabas lalo yung shooting last game. Mas mataas raw ang assist over turnovers. Para daw sponge si Joshua, just accepting all these opportunities and experiences. Ken, Coach Mike.
Thank you, Sid. And Coach Mike, what exactly is the best role for Joshua David moving forward as Abra tries to make their push towards the playoffs?
I feel definitely on the scoring side, that's where you're gonna count on him. But the things that you get from him defensively, you're going up against a team who's got a really good wing scorer. Joshua David is pretty much capable of limiting that guy in terms of making it very uncomfortable for him. He's got a strong body, he moves a lot side to side, he's got good motor, and really just the body strength I feel of Joshua David. And I feel you could say the same things for Encho Serrano as well as CJ Austria. Those guys pretty much in the same mold of stocky, average-sized guards that move a lot, got good motor, and got good head on their shoulders.
6 feet eh. So si Joshua David could also play the point. Actually did run the point at times for LaSalle. But here, sometimes the 1, the 2, even the 3 spot, pinapasubo sa kanya ni Coach Yong Garcia. Lander Cannon actually has quietly produced. And he draws a foul. Lander Cannon so far, 4 points, 4 rebounds.
And I feel ito si Lander Cannon is liking that matchup with Taha. Size-wise, medyo banggaan sa loob, kaya niyang i-absorb, but, feet speed. Medyo feel niya siguro, mas may advantage siya to get to open spaces on the floor, lalo na pag short distances.
LGR, the official outfitter of the MPBL. Maraming salamat sa LGR. Lander Cannon. Those are his numbers.
Played for Quezon previous season. And I feel malaki naging benefit niya playing for Quezon. Not just the experience on being on a very strong team, but embracing his role and bringing it here in Parañaque.
When a floor pulls it back out. 2:40 left here in the third quarter. Alan Makahas. Foul called on Garcia. Parañaque just keeping in step at the moment. Behind by 4 points. 2:32 left here in the third. Buenaflor has yet to find his mark, at least here in the third. Ito signature staple to sa opensa ni Coach Mike.
Yeah. At saka, sabi nila, yun naman play na yun, ulit-ulit lang. I also see a three-pointer again here by David Alfonso. Yung play na yan, paulit-ulit, but hindi nyo ma-stop. Well, that's a couple of the concepts of the triangle offense that's most difficult to stop. That backdoor step, some call it a blind pig, and also yung post-split action. And those two actions really have been tough to defend, lalo na yung post-split action.
2 minutes remaining here, 62-57.
Saka the mere fact na niraran pa nila yan, alam mo talagang si Coach Stephen, just keeps some of the principles that Coach Mike has instilled in this Parañaque Patriots team.
Yung tenets talaga ng triangle nandun pa rin.
Agree.
Ildefonso gets fouled. These are his first 2 free throws coming up. Play of the game, though, is brought to you by 1xBet, the title sponsor of the MPBL. Your choice, your victory. Feel more game with 1xBet.
Iba rin talaga yung vision, no? And to find open guys and that strong finish.
16.2 points for David Alfonso on average. Against Bacolod, 28 points, 19 of those coming in the first half. Sama mo pa dyan, 8 rebounds, 4 assists, 4 steals. Very efficient shooting from the field. And you gotta remember, he really struggled to begin the season. He only averaged 12 points on 29% shooting in his first 3 games, Coach Mike. Pero ever since yung natalo sila laban sa Pasay, dun na nag-pick up It's kind of turned a corner from there. And each and every game, you see just different sides of what he can do inside the court para dito sa Weavers.
Oh naman. I guess period of adjustment for David Alfonso. I mean, he's done practices with the team, pero kailangan talaga mag-adjust pa rin in their roles. And ever since that loss to Pasay, you see that strong drive by Encho Serrano. That's what I was talking about, 6 feet guard, strong body, can finish with the rack in contact.
Pass for the game brought to you with Extreme Cool Air Conditioners. Ang Extreme magpalamig, free installation for split-type air conditioners.
And going back to that conversation about David Alfonso, ever since that 10, 11 point output lang in that game against Pasay, he's been on a tear. Almost every game from then on, he had a streak of 6, 7 games ba na nag-best player of the game si David Alfonso. And those best player of the games were without a doubt. He was the guy that really led the Abra Weavers in those games.
Naging 10 ulit yung kalamangan ng Abra. Oh, that pass easily intercepted by Raven Gonzalez. Encho Serrano is gone on the other end. 11 points for Encho. Now, the lead of the Weavers at a dozen. Intercepted again. David Serrano goes all the way for the lefty layup.
Yeah, how do you stop that fast break? Encho Serrano, Josh David, CJ Austria. All those guys, guards that are very able to finish in open floor.
Saitanan facing up. Jumper, no good. Timaho over the outstretched arms of Tusip Taha. Foul called on Allen Papa. Both teams in penalty.
Pretty much undersized Allen Papa versus Raven Gonzalez at that point. Raven understands box outs, one of the key stats that the Abra Weavers are monitoring and measuring. And they have goals for each of these non-stat things that you see in our usual stats. And they have somebody recording it because they feel yung mga hustle stats napakahalaga para sa kanila.
Gonzalez, those are his numbers so far today. 7 points, 5 rebounds. The heave, that had a good chance of getting in, but just a little bit off the mark. Almangahas and the rest of the Parañaque Patriots having trouble dealing with this firepower of Abra. Highlights of the game brought to you by Sip Plus, the official hydration partner of the MPBL. Elevate your hydration.
Well, more made baskets from the field and more trips to the line. That's pretty much what has given this lead back to the Abra Weavers, and a good recovery on the points of the paints, to which right now they're a +6. And yung offensive rebounds nila has actually resulted in 12 more second chance points versus that of Parañaque.
And sa pagtatapos ng ating pangatlong yugto, abante na po ang Abra Solid North Weavers ng 15 puntos laban sa Parañaque, 72-57. Hixer fan of the game, born for greatness. Maraming salamat po sa pagsubaybay. Nandito po tayo ngayon sa Caloocan Sports Complex. And Abra finishing the quarter on a 13-2 run. And you see the quarter scoring. Abra had a strong start, 32-17 in quarter number 1. Parañaque bumawi, 25-18. And then pagdating ng third, it was the Weavers with a 22-15 quarter.
Yeah, yung +7 na yun, napakalaking recovery nun para dito sa Abra Weavers. And katulad nga pinag-usapan natin kanina, kailangan abangan mo itong mga runs itong Abra Weavers. And so, I guess, it's the Patriots' turn to make a run here and try to make a comeback.
Yusuf Taha lays it up and in over Jesse Saitanan. Dalawang former Mapua Cardinal ang nagbalidon. Jasper Cuevas, Alan Mangahas, Jesse Saitanan, Kevin Peñaflor, and Alan Papa sa panig ng Parañaque.
Well, this zone has actually slowed down, and in my opinion, might have casted a doubt on the outside shooting of the Patriots. They were so good in that second quarter when the Weavers were playing man, but this zone has really slowed them down.
Assist of the game brought to you by 1xBet, the title sponsor of the MPBL. Your choice, your victory. Feel more game with 1xBet. Raven Gonzalez. Two Lasalians connecting there as Austria gets bumped on his way up. Unang foul laban kay Allen Papa. Stephen Mopera. Now it's CJ at the line. Three-time UAP champion. CJ Austria. Good on the first free throw.
Both very tough players, if you ask me. Then CJ Austria as well as Joshua David. And DNA-wise, halos may similarity.
Special D from 1xBet. Scan a QR code and claim your special offer. Above 6 feet pareho.
And I think both guys come from Phenom basketball. Kila Brodet. If I recall correctly.
Ooh.
I think that's why.
Coach Anthony Brodet.
Yeah, that's why you see merong mga similarities.
Lumuwa. Gonzalez, tapik. Bumalik sa kanya yung bola. Naibigay pa niya kay Joshua David. It's actually 3 former Lasalians are in. Austria, Raven Gonzalez, Joshua David sharing the floor right now for Abra. Jasper Cuevas goes up strong over Joshua David for the layup. Muntik pang makaagaw si The Snake. Alan Makahas.
Now, if CJ Austria gets to a level of confidence in the same manner as Josh has picked up and they play alongside Encho Serrano, napakabilis itong tatlong kombinasyon na to on the floor at the same time.
I thought that pass was intended to CJ Austria, but nonetheless, it ends up with Raven Gonzalez for the deuce.
Napangiti rin yata
Oo,
si Raven.
diba?
Nagulat din siya.
Sabi ni CJ, ganda nung cut ko eh. Di ba sa akin napunta yung bola? Ito yung backdoor na hinahanap nila kanina. Ginawa naman ni Alvin Capobres.
Right, good pocket pass right there with Landon Cannon finding Capobres inside. And just involving 3 men in action would really force to rotate the defenses, and that happened to be how they made that basket. Itong Parañaque Patriots.
7:30 left. Cuevas. Bounce pass to Alvin Capobres. Goes up. Foul called against the Weavers.
Foul number 55 is
Taha called for that foul.
Shooting 2, Alvin
2 free throws for Alvin Capobres. And this first one brought to you by Extreme Appliances, ang subok at kumpletong appliance brand ng Pilipinas. Pasok yung unang free throw ni Alvin Capobres. 2 double-doubles so far. But extremes kasi Coach Mike either ang production niya, monster double-double, or very bad shooting.
Right.
Tapos mga halos scoreless siya.
Kaya yung mga when you talk about player averages or team averages, you really get the true average if you remove yung highs and lows, valleys in the hills, so that you get a steady stream of what really the performance numbers would be.
CJ.
Nice fake.
Taha sa loob. Gumawa ng paraan pero hindi makakapagpasok ng tira doon. Nakuha ni Capobres yung rebound. Susugod. Gets bumped. And 1 for Alvin Capobres. With 14 points now.
Alvin Capobres really just making the most of the space that was available right in front of him. 2 guys converging, both CJ and Josh, but he was really off for that shot.
Dave comes in. And Patino as well for Encho Serrano and Yusif Taha. Solid shooting from Capobres today. 15 points. 6 of 9 shooting from the field. 3 of 3 from the line. 3 minutes gone by here in the 4th quarter. Patino at the free throw line. Nilabas papunta kay Dave Ildefonso. Steps back. 3-point shot. My goodness. Dave making it look easy.
That's not fair.
Kaya nga eh.
Yung kanina yung kinukwento mo na early in his game, yung shot selection, kumbaga. And now, this is so much a matured version of Dave Ildefonso, and there's still a lot of upside for this young man.
And this was not easy. Stepping back with 2 feet and just enough balance and getting that shot up and in. This time, sets up Joshua David, but can't convert. David will get it back. Dave Ildefonso thought about it. Naagaw ni Allen Papa. Pasang-basa yung pasa papunta kay Raven Gonzalez. Mangahas. Pupukol sa tres. Yes!
And why not? Now you have to make a run now. You're approaching the halfway point of the fourth quarter. If you want to win this, oh man.
Dave with another three. My goodness, Dave Ildefonso now with 26. Limang tres.
5 of 10, 50% from outside.
Mangahas. Nasagot naman din. Yung tres na yun. Back-to-back threes for Alan Mangahas.
The snake coming alive with a couple of threes here for the Patriots. Pero kailangan dumipensa. Ang Parañaque Patriots kung gusto nilang makabalik dito magkaroon ng run.
Dave steps back. Fires off to the left this time. CJ Austria sa loob. Batino, pabandang tira, wala. Mangahas comes away with it. Oh, Rapobres. No good, but Cuevas there for the stick back.
A 5-point run here para sa Patriots. Still got a long way to go, but gotta keep going with this stuff.
Gonzalez. Short. Parañaque, may pagkakataon pa dito. 4:30 left here in the fourth. Allen Papa, no hesitation. Austria the rebound. CJ bringing it down for Abra. Using his offhand for the lane.
There you go. That's the CJ Austria that you'd want to see for the Abra Weavers. And then him just leveling up his game brings a lot more rotation piece para dito sa Weavers. Pretty strong at the guard din no?
Yeah. Mangahas try to locate. Oh, look out. Dave Ildefonso just lays it in. 28 points na naman si Dave.
Sinimplihan lang. Baka nire-reserva niya para doon sa game nila sa Abra next week.
That's gonna be a good one.
That's gonna be a good one, right?
Wala may Quezon, di ba?
Quezon, right?
Alam, tayo ba magkasama doon? I have to make sure kasi alam ko pupunta yata ako sa Abra eh. We have to make sure of that.
Yeah.
Dave Ildefonso for free. Oh my goodness, now has 31 points.
Oh wow. 6 of 12 from 3. And 3 of 4 on his last 4 attempts. And just impressive shooting. This is the part of the game of Dave Ildefonso which I feel would create that separation with the other young players here in this league. And he's just been so much to cover with on the floor. Nice pass.
Batino with a lay-in. Jasper Cuevas. Naging 18 na naman yung lamang. Yes, that confirms it. Dave Ildefonso with the new career high of 31 points. Play of the game brought to you by 1xBet, the title sponsor of the MPBL. Your choice, your victory. Feel more game with 1xBet. Kita mo to. Yung pasa ni Joshua David papunta kay Alfred Batino.
That's 31 in 20-something minutes. Just impressive.
And yung 28 na yun, nung huli, career high din niya yun against Bacolod. And he eclipses that immediately after just one game.
He gets, what, 13 in the first half and 18 here in the second.
Ito, dadagdagan pa niya yata. But that time, a miss from the corner. Oduba, no good. Jasper Cuevas, tatakbo. Buena floor. Rolls out. Last 2 minutes of the ball game. And Abra looks like they're going to get another win here as they set up for that big-time matchup in Banguet kontra sa Quezon.
Yeah, definitely that's much to watch. MPBL game, that Quezon matchup.
Quezon, the #1 team defensively in terms of the least number of points given up to an opponent. And that will be tested dahil nga ang daming sandata nitong Abra, no? Led by David Defonso, of course.
Ako curious ako in that game how the offensive rebounding is gonna influence the defense of both teams actually. Alam natin magandang dumepensa itong Quezon, pero malalakas rin sa offensive rebounding itong Abra Weavers. And so they have enough guys that actually know how to play down on the low block and locate shooters. But then again, yung mga long threes nitong Quezon Huskers, once they go in, that offensive rebounding wouldn't matter at all.
For Parañaque, it's gonna be back to the drawing board. They had that great win versus Cebu, but since then, it's been downhill again for the Patriots. The tough loss against Pasig at home. Baldo with the baseline drive, kicks it out. Shot does not work by Marwin Taiwan. Susubok ulit si Baldo. Nakabutas from the left corner. That's a 3-point shot.
Successive games already that Baldo has scored para dito sa Abra Weavers.
Bena Flor can't say free. And it seems that Abra will just hold it out. And Parañaque actually did well for some portions of this game, Coach Mike, particularly the second quarter where they took the lead. And they were threatening a bit here in the second half, but once David Defonso again showing his stuff, wala nang nagawa itong Parañaque in stopping the onslaught of the Weavers.
Yeah, it's just the interior defense of Parañaque that got challenged. I mean, second chance points and points in the paints have been, the key indicators leading up to this win para dito sa Abra Weavers.
Best player of the game brought to you by 1xBet, the title sponsor of the MPBL. Your choice, your victory. Feel more game with 1xBet. Magtataka pa ba kung sino?
Walang iba na yan, hindi si David Defonso. He's just been, started out shooting hot from in the first quarter, cooled down a little bit in the second, but the second half, 18 points in all together. So much good performance overall para dito kay David Defonso.
Tingnan natin kung namalaya niya, kung career high niya itong 31 points na ito. Ito, it's our final score, 97 for Abra, 81 for Parañaque. Let's go to Sid.
Thanks, Ken. Coach Mike, congratulations, Dave. You started this game with a 3-point shot and eventually just casually dropping your career high, 31 points. Sabi nga nating panel kanina, parang sinimplihan mo lang kami ngayong araw. Tanong rin nila, alam mo ba na career high mo?
Gusto ko lang pasalamat, of course, kay God kasi, without Him, I'm nothing. Pero yun nga sinasabi mo, I didn't really realize kasi itong mga shots na ito, pinagtatrabuhan ko and I work on them and thankfully itong game, they dropped kasi I've been struggling all season long sa mga threes ko pero thankfully medyo mas okay na yung percentage ko and pasalamat ko talaga kay God yun.
Speaking of pinagtatrabahuan, alam ko after this win, meron kayong matinding paghahandaan. Babalik kayo ng Abra for a home game on May 31. Harapin nyo ang Quezon Huskers. Paano mo i-approach itong next week?
Siyempre, alam naman natin na formidable team talaga yung Quezon. And they were able to reach the national finals last season. So we're taking it just like a regular game kasi ang importante is pagtrabuhan namin yung gagawin namin and siyempre importante rin yung kung anong gagawin ng Quezon. Pero it's just another regular season game but we're gonna try to approach it in a little different way. Pero yun nga, gusto ko pasalamat kay sabi ng poging kalbo dito, si Boyet, na pasalamat ako kay Burlington and kay Pastor Ferdy and sa nano babae ko na nanonood ngayon na hindi nakalood kasi may sakit pero pagaling ka nano, love you. And sa girlfriend ko, hello. And kay Pastor Ferdy, yan.
Imbitahan mo na rin sila para sa May 31.
Sa mga taga-Abra dyan, sa mga taga-Bangged, sana makita ko kayo and makapag-support kayo. Kalaban namin yung Quezon and kung wala kayong gagawin ng Saturday, May 31 at okay lang kayo mag-drive ng 8 na oras, puntahan nyo na rin kami and mag-support kayo. So hopefully makita ko kayo doon and sana supportan nyo yung Abra Weavers.
All right, thank you so much and congratulations once again, David Defonso, our best player of the game, brought to us by 1xBet, the title sponsor of the MPBL. 1xBet, your choice, your victory. Feel more game with 1xBet. Back to you guys.
May bagamalim sa ating mga Ilocano na manonood ng laban na yun for the Abra Weavers. Up next, Pampanga will take on Zamboanga in another North versus South crossover showdown. Kaya manatiling nakatutok dito sa Maharlika Pilipinas Basketball League. And of course, we still have one more game left after this one. Mamaya, matutungayan natin ang Caloocan. They will try to defend their home court later on against Imos. And these two teams, Pampanga and Zamboanga, of course, Zamboanga number 1 in the South Division so far. But they will get an acid test because Pampanga is coming off that loss against Caloocan. Matinding-tinding revenge factor yung matutunghayan natin dito. And Pampanga, this is a very different team. But again, you know, the heart of the champion, you cannot underestimate that. And kaya, natin nakatutok dito sa MPBL ang liga ng bawat Pilipino.